Our company actually has a contract with the US government to respond to any epidemics or natural disasters in the United States. And I was actually on R&R when I received a call on March 12 to respond to the first outbreak in the United States. That was in Kirkland, Washington. When I got there, there were 46 people that were already infected and about 40 already expired. There was about 46 people left, residents left, and half of them were still infected with COVID-19. I had a team of 40, mainly nurses and nurse practitioners. I'm also infectious disease specialist. So I was able to use the lessons that I've learned in Ebola to COVID-19. In the beginning here in the United States, there was a lot of questions, there was a lot of uncertainty. Even the CDC was not really certain what to do at the time. The public would never understand why, for instance, their mothers or their grandparents were in between people that were positive. In Kirkland, Washington, the main problem was that when everybody was positive, everybody walked off the job. There were only 2 people that were left in that facility, the nursing, this temporary director of nursing, and 1 CNA. There was a lot of media at this facility. Every day they were holding news conferences. People would joke around and say, if you want to be on CNN, this is your perfect opportunity. But we were very focused on our objective. Our objective was, of course, to sustain nursing activities for the residents, to sustain dignity in their lives. The nursing facilities, of course, at the time were not receiving any visitors. So a lot of the residents that were at this nursing facility were on hospice. So that means, they were about to die, even without COVID-19. One of our main objectives was really to sustain, to have these residents die in peace, per se, and how to do that without seeing their loved ones. So this mission is not only an emergency mission, but it's also a humanitarian mission. We would try to FaceTime the families of these residents that were there. So for them to really see that, the emotions that go through, all the passing of the residents and all that was really difficult for the team. And lucky for us, we had our mental health specialists on the ground with us. So a lot of people were able to vent and, just have therapy sessions. As soon as people were infected and staff were infected, everybody just walked off the job. So that is the immediate need. Go in, yes, try to contain the virus, but also try to sustain human activity for the residents that were there. People forget they're actually human beings there. People were not being fed. The staff were afraid that everybody's going to get infected, so they just isolated everybody that was infected and left them there. Our nurses were able to feed them again, bathe them, all the daily activities that were, that were neglected, I would say, or were forgotten, not intentionally, but just because there were so many unknowns in the response.
I'm Michael Conser, I'm 57, and I'm a construction supervisor out here in LA. And I've been out here for several decades now, but I grew up in Minnesota with my brother, sister, and my mother and father. We had a COVID scare here recently because my mother tested positive for COVID. My dad, because he was being reluctant to test, and they didn't get a test on him, so they assumed he was negative. In less than a week, he had come down with a fever and was sent to the hospital. He had 103-degree temperature, fever, and he had low blood oxygen levels. So they treated him, got the fever knocked away, and he was downhill for a week after that. Just slowly just kept going down. We got a call from the doctor that my dad was non-responsive, and he was probably within 24 hours or so he would be gone. So I left work. My brother and sister hopped a flight. I got on a flight, and we all flew out to Arizona to be with them. And we had no idea if we would even get to see them, but we were just going to be there. As it was, the hospital had a no visitation policy. My mother was quarantined at the nursing home, so we couldn't visit her except through a window outside of her room. Difficult communicating like that. And we had come up with a plan that we were going to take her to see Dad. And we basically decided that I would drive my mother over to see Dad. We spoke to the hospital, and they would only let one person in, but definitely not my mother. So we opted to have my sister go up and visit with Dad, and she would FaceTime the rest of the family. And we sat in the parking lots in Arizona in the heat and watched for 30 minutes as my sister visited my dad, who was non-responsive, just talking to him and seeing if, touching him, seeing if he would wake up. I was sitting in the car with my mom during this whole thing, watching on the cell phone. Very cold, very distant. This is a woman who'd been with him for 58 years, and she couldn't visit him. And she's got slight dementia with short-term memory loss, so she was not comprehending why she couldn't see him, even though we told her every day. Seeing this and knowing that she couldn't go see him, and we couldn't see him, and we couldn't reach out to him, it's heartbreaking. And it's not bad enough to lose someone. It's even worse when you can't reach out and touch them and hold their hand and say your words to them that you want them to hear. The very next day, we got a call from the hospital that Dad had passed. So we literally got to see him just 24 hours before he left, kind of through video conferencing. So we went through the process of all the funeral arrangements and such, and meantime, we waited for my mother's COVID test. We finally got her COVID test and took her out, and she went back to Minnesota with my brother and sister. So now she's out and with family, which is the important part. Mom and Dad were kind of like a tight-knit unit. And even though they had different businesses, Dad was in construction, Mother was a real estate broker, but they also were intertwined with that as well. They were just supportive on each other's back all the time, covering each other and doing for each other what they could do. We had the ultimate role models kind of with them. So they were together 58 years. They had June 2nd was their 58th anniversary. That's what makes it difficult and strange, because without Dad, she has her ups and downs. I imagine it's worse than mine. I mean, how do you lose your other half and go about your day from day to day? I don't know how I'd do it. It's heartbreaking beyond belief.
The day that they took him from our room, he was pretty groggy, and I thought, well, this is good, because they'll get it out of him, get him over it, and we'll go on. Oh, after they got him there, guess what? You are not allowed in there. Sure. So now I can't even go up and see him and talk to him. I couldn't even go up and hold his hand and let him know I'm here. Would have been the extent of it, but oh no.
We all chip in, try and call her, talk to her, see her, and keep her occupied, but it's still, you can hear it in her voice and in her demeanor. She's not 100% there anymore.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Ma. What you doing?
Reading your email.
Reading my email?
Yeah.
Is that with my itinerary for the flight?
No, I didn't get to that yet. Did you send it?
I sent it. I believe I sent it to Linda. I'm not sure if I sent it to you. I could send it to you, too. I'll send it here when we get off the phone, okay?
Okay.
All right, Ma. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Well, unlike the people who didn't get to see their parents or their loved ones pass away, who didn't get to attend the funeral, at least I get to attend the funeral and be there with one of my parents. And I'll get to see my mom and my brother and sister, the rest of the family there. And there they are standing on the beach waiting for me. I had to go out and take a dip and get cooled off. And it's hard for my brother and sister and I to console each other because this is our first parent that we've lost, and it's like a hole that's always there. You don't expect it. You think even when they progress and you think, okay, I'm prepared for it, it's their time, you're not. And the hole is always there. And even when you have good days, it comes back. It's all of my life. They were both here the whole time. And now that one of them's gone, it's like a black hole that's there. And you don't realize it's like part of you becomes handicapped. Like there's something you can't reach out to and say, how's it going? What's your advice? You've lost a huge part. Dad's a huge part of who I think I am, who I wanted to be. And without him, kind of like I'm on my own.
All right, sir, it'll be gate 50 on B, okay? Thank you. Thank you, it'll be upstairs.
Surreal now because I see another lockdown and all the people freaking out and being mean to one another and basically lashing out, and I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If they're gone tomorrow, how are you going to feel then? This COVID thing is tough, but it's not that tough. It's the toughest part is when they're separated, when you can't see them, when they're quarantined, when they're hospitalized, especially when they're dying and you can't touch them, you can't say your final farewells. It's frustrating when you see so many people just going crazy, lashing out at each other. It's just like, really? So what does that do? Having a temper tantrum like a child, it's not worth it.
My mom, Deanna, was the most amazing person. Not just mom, but person. I'm the youngest of 3 children. We're all very close. We traveled everywhere, and she would take us on a separate trip. So we went to Greece together, and she sent me to Israel. She just inspired me to actually go into the career that I chose as an educational therapist, work with children, and she gave me my teaching gene, per se. When I told her that one day I'm going to do stand-up comedy, she says, we should do a mother-daughter team. It should be together. We should do it together. And she just never missed a beat. She was always supportive. I never had to hold any secrets back from her, even as a teenager. She was just always open with us and made sure that we always felt comfortable talking to her about anything. And she really mentored me to be a good mom to my own daughter and allowed me to keep that conversation open and honest. She was my everything. She was my rock. She was someone that I would write about in an essay if someone asked me who was your inspiration, who was the person you admire most. It would be my mom. She suffered from kidney disease, COPD, cellulitis. She had so many different things wrong with her, and she was suffering for quite a while, a couple months before. Really, we wanted to encourage her to go to the hospital, but she was afraid because she thought she would never come out. And we weren't so excited about her going to the hospital either because of the situation with COVID. Her body just couldn't keep up with her beautiful mind, and she finally went into the hospital a week before her death. She begged us every day to come visit her. She asked the nurses, "Can my daughters come? I don't want to be alone." They poked and prodded her. They did emergency dialysis on her. She was just, every day she kept saying to me, "I can't go on. I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't have the willpower. I don't have the energy. My body just, I feel it shutting down." And we said, "No, Mom, you're not, you're so close to getting out of the hospital." And she said, "No, I don't think so. I don't think so. What's happening to her? Why aren't the doctors talking to us? I'm used to being with her every day. I put her to bed every night, went over there and made her dinner when she needed help, and watched her fall asleep before I left." I had this feeling, and Thursday night at 10 o'clock at night, we got a call, and they said, "Your mom's in ICU. You're welcome to come now." So my sister and I, quickly got dressed, and she and her husband and I, they let all three of us up. But by then, she was already unconscious. They had paddled her twice, and they were going on a third time, and we held her hand, and just, we knew, as soon as we told them to stop, it was over. The pulse was gone. And she just had given up. She couldn't take it anymore. And I really think that if we were there holding her hand and we were able to go into the hospital and be next to her and just talk to her and talk her through, because we were so close, we spoke every day, that she would have survived. She was only 80 years old. She had just celebrated her 80th birthday on April 6th, and it was just, I don't think she was really ready, and I certainly was not ready. It got even weirder when we had to plan her funeral, because we couldn't have a service. I wasn't sure how we were going to incorporate, my brother lives in Washington, D.C., and his health is compromised. He couldn't fly out. She had a mausoleum, so we did have a service, and everybody had to bring their own chairs, and we had social distancing, and we had, luckily, my brother-in-law's brother is pretty technical and was able to Zoom my brother and my uncle in. But, we, being Jewish, we couldn't hold a shiva. There was no way we could have people coming in and out of the house. And, people sent food, but everything was a distance. And for me, I think that was the hardest, because I'm a hugger. I'm one of these people that are very touchy-feely, and I needed those hugs from my friends. I needed their touch, their warmth. And you can't do it. It's all about social distancing and being safe and keeping everybody safe. And I could not. There's so many people I just wanted to hug and hold and, be comforted and really have like a proper Shiva and celebrate her life and celebrate her everything. She touched so many people as an educational therapist and helped so many people. We were just a very close family. We've never had any rifts in our family. Losing her was one of the biggest heartbreaks in my entire life. I still have nightmares about her screaming for me in the middle of the night in the hospital, wanting me there to hold her hand, to support her. Can't even imagine being alone in a hospital and not having my own daughter hold my hand, or someone that I love and care about, and being scared. Even though it wasn't COVID related, it was COVID related, because it kept us from being able to hold her hand and be with her. Still having panic thoughts about, staying healthy myself to make sure that I don't end up there or another loved one doesn't end up there. And every day I hear a new story about someone like myself that's affected. You know, I'm at an age where there's a lot of my friends that are losing their parents, and, you know, whether it's COVID related or not, and going into the hospital, it's a scary, scary thought. It's you know, are they going to come out? It's just one of the hardest experiences I've ever gone through, and I know it's going to affect me just forever.
Can I do some work? Can I do some work? You just want love. Yes, good boys, good boys. Yes, for me.
When I was ready to born, my father left my mother with 7 kids. So my mom, she has to work so hard with 7 kids by herself. We are so blessed because my mom is a fake woman, a strong woman, and she did the most that she could to give us food. I just remember one day she has only 1 egg, and she says, okay, we have 1 egg we were 7. And she cooked the egg. She put tomatoes, she put onions, and she put tortilla, and she made the egg. And then she cut it, and she says, like one piece for Aura, 1 piece for Paco, 1 piece for Blanca, 1 piece for Mariela, 1 piece for Letty, 1 piece for Ariel. And then she eat with the smell of the egg. And that's the love of the mothers. They prefer to the kids eat, and they don't care about it. And we are here, that's why. She was the one who decided to open the way for us. So she came first, and eventually my other sister, and then I came. Every one of my sisters and my brother decided to follow her because we knew that she was in this country. Thanks to God, we can have now our own egg for our breakfast. My mom has been a very healthy woman. She never had anything. When she has something, she prays. And that we learn in that way. And it works because all my family, thanks to God, with this pandemic, we have been healthy. We have our mom with us. We are so happy and blessed to have her with us. Unfortunately, she got sick. We have to put her at the hospital because she got a surgery. We are so happy that she survived after the surgery. And we are happy, we are ready to have her back in our house. But then the pandemic came. And so in the hospital, they tell us, you can't see your mom anymore. The hospital is gonna be closed, so you can see your mom. Mm-hmm. So everybody were so nervous, sad, because how we gonna visit my mom? How we gonna do to see her? So they said, don't worry, your mom is eventually, to her recovery, she has to go for a rehabilitation center. And so she's gonna be in there, but the same thing. They move over there and then says, you can see your mom. You can open the blinds and you can see by the window. And that was so hard for us and for my mom because she don't speak English fluently. My mom speaks a little bit. And so when we come to the window, they put my mom in the window and we touch her by the window. And then she says, why don't you come in? Come in. And say, why do you have those things in your mouth? And says, Mom, there is a virus in the air. It's killing people. And we don't want nothing happen to you. But my mom don't understand that because she's 98 and she thinks that we want to have her in there just because we want it. And no, we want our mother back with our love. One day she go, another day go, I'm going, another day my sister, because she needs the love. And that's what's happening with a lot of families. My mom doesn't have the virus. My mom, it's like I told you, it's a healthy woman. Unfortunately, she got the surgery, and that's why she's in there. It's something that we don't wish to anybody, but unfortunately, it's happening in the whole world, I think. A lot of people, families, are happy for this feeling. They have their families or fathers in the hospitals with not the virus, but they can visit them. And so we feel blessed because at least we can see by the window.
She's there for 5 months and we can see it. We feel very frustrated. We feel sad and because we cannot do nothing. Just go and visit every day or every other day. We want to try to put it back at the house. I don't know how, but we want to try. So this is the really bad situation, and I don't want to people suffer in this one like we are doing all the time.
For the first time after the 5 months,
First time.
that place decide to put all the people that is interned in there, put it out. And we bring flowers and we give flowers, but even we have to keep the distance.
Yeah,
But
6 feet
yeah,
distance. Yes, I miss my mother a lot. We miss it. My brother, my sister, everybody missing our mother.
I haven't seen my mom since probably January, and what's really disappointing is that had I known this was coming on, I would have seen my mom a lot in January. But not knowing that we were going to get cut off from everybody, we didn't make the extra effort to make a lunch date or a dinner date. My mom is so busy all the time that she's got her own life, she's got her own friends. She's got 5 of us kids in the family and 1 adopted brother that I have. So she's got 6 kids that we would all have made attempts, at least knowing that we weren't going to see her for so long, to get together with her. And we didn't know that it was so important to do it at the time. We did, of course, it came right after the holidays. So everybody had spent a lot of time together during the holidays. That helps a lot because who knows how many months can go by before you really see people. But she's busy, I'm busy, we have our own lives. I know she's fine, and there's not that need and necessity to see her all the time, except when you're told you can't. And once you're told you can't, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, did I not make the effort to see my mother? Should I be calling my mother every day? I'm not cut off from her like you would be from somebody that was in a hospital room that actually couldn't have a conversation. My mother's in a really good place, which I'm really happy for. She's living in a community that has been on lockdown, and they don't let anybody in and they don't let anybody out, and they temperature check everybody coming in and out of the door. She's so independent and active. She travels on her own. She goes everywhere. She's a photographer, so she has her gigs that she goes to. She's very busy and very active, and this has been a change for her because she can't leave. It hurts that I don't see my mother. I would love to go see her. I've been talking to her lately about, can't we come, have a picnic in that place? And I think that they're lightening up a little bit with their restrictions. They haven't let anybody's family in, and I think everybody's getting a little bit sad and anxious to see their families. Do air hugs, air kisses, which is all that we can do at this point, except for the fact that she hasn't seen any family in 5 months. She's good, which is great because I have my father, and my parents are divorced. My father lives with me now, and my father will be 86 next month. He has a little bit of dementia. He had a heart attack last year. He's got emphysema. He's got respiratory problems. It's very hard for him to even walk up and down the staircase. And I can't let anybody in and out of my house because if he got this COVID, it would kill him. So right now, he's my main concern. My father's the smartest man I've ever met in my life. My father taught surgery around the world, and now he's a little bit slower. He's a little bit wobbly. He's forgetful. I've been getting him out to go to restaurants when they've been open. We've been going to places that have nobody there, and we look for the restaurants that are empty. Try and take him to the park sometimes, and it's a long walk for him, but we're making it, and he sits down at benches along the way and wears his gloves and wears his mask, and we walk back, and that's it. He's done for the day. It changes lifestyles completely. I have taken a lot on in my life personally anyway, having my dad live with me. As he gets older, there's more medical conditions, more things that I need to take care of, where he was completely independent at one time. Now, I really need to be there for him. I can't go out and do something personally for me and leave my dad sitting there by himself all night long. It's okay for me. It can last a little. I'm strong. I'm fairly secure. I'm good with this for a while. I'm not good with this forever. It will come a point that we'll have to just say life has to go on anyway, and we just have to take our chances, which I would be doing if it were just me, but not with Dad there. We've gone to in Zoom funerals, which is the new thing, is Zoom funerals. My uncle Gary died. He's in Chicago, and we did a Zoom funeral, so they recorded the whole thing, and we watched the funeral, which was a short service with just the immediate family. Gave a little bit of a talk about who he was and what great things he has done in his life and how he made everybody laugh and what a wonderful man he was and how he will be missed. Although it wasn't the same as getting on a plane and flying back for the funeral, which I would have done, it added a lot of comfort to my aunt, to his immediate family, to know that there's a whole lot of people out there that do care, that would want to be there, that are in spirit there with them. And it's helpful. It's helpful the way that we've kind of made things happen and use our imagination and our technology. There was one Zoom birthday party, and that was kind of fun. It was short and sweet, but we all got on, and it was for my aunt. Everybody tuned in at the same time and gave a little speech on my aunt, or a little joke about my aunt, or a little something that just said happy birthday, and they lit a candle on a cake, and we all got to sing happy birthday together on Zoom for her, which is not the same as going out and having a big party, but it's comforting. It's comforting to know your family's still there, everyone's still doing well and thinking about you. And then I have my nephew and now my new niece. They had a wedding planned, and their wedding was planned in April. And the wedding, of course, got canceled, and the reception was canceled, and everybody's flight tickets were all canceled, and it was very disappointing. But they decided they're going to get married anyway. They did a Zoom wedding at the golf course, and we were all there, and we all watched it.
You guys hear us?
You're back, man.
You're there, but we have you now. This is a very unique time for getting married.
You're my best friend, my rock, the best dog mom, and I know you'll be the most amazing wife and mom.
I, your penguin, promise to love you, you only, forever, with all of my heart.
You may now kiss the bride.
Congratulations.
You know, have us all together. So cheers to the bride and groom here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Tim. Natasha, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Richard, you got done yourself.
Love you guys.
Yay! Love you.
Hey guys.
Oh my God.
Oh, man. Thank you guys. I would say this was as close to flawless as a 100+ person Zoom wedding could be. So thank you, love you, and we look forward to getting everybody together in person sooner than later. Cheers, guys. See you guys. Good night. Love you.
Trying to keep in touch with people, but it's difficult during these times, and everyone's got their own different lifestyle now, which isn't the same as before. You can't just make plans. Your brain is a muscle, and it needs to be exercised. And the longer you sit, the more incapacitated you become.
This one, no, it's simple. It's literally you're just flipping over cards, like, and then you have to set stink bugs.
Flash, like phone camera flash.
Camera flash.
Earring, night class.
Oh my God! Wow.
My name is Pele Iwi. I'm 26 years old, from Long Beach, California, born and raised. I have 2 brothers, 1 sister, and my parents were actually born in Samoa, but they migrated here with their parents, with my grandparents, in the 70s. So both of them have been here since then. We've been here in Long Beach, California for pretty much our whole lives. I believe it all started with this COVID thing. Was I probably contracted it from the gym. This was the week right before March 17th when everything shut down in LA County. The week after March 17th, I started feeling symptoms of, fever. I couldn't taste anything. I couldn't smell anything. When that all started, my mom was the one who kind of took the reins because we all lived together in one household. So she kind of took the reins of trying to take care of me and, treat me, which she normally does whenever any of us are sick. After that, 2-3 days of that, it immediately went away. I didn't have any more symptoms. It just was more of like the sense of taste and smell that I was trying to gain back. After that, it was like 3-4 days of my symptoms. She started feeling the symptoms literally the next week. I called Kaiser, our doctor. I said, hey, I might need to get checked to see what my symptoms are. And they diagnosed me over the phone saying it's flu symptoms. Just stay in your room, isolate yourself from your family members. And she was the only one that was there taking care of me. And then she contracted it and she started calling Kaiser. They kept telling her, no, just isolate your room. You just treat it inside your room. And so she isolated in her room with my father in the room as well. And the doctors kept continually telling them, it's just the flu. You don't have to worry about anything. So I think it was like up until 2 weeks, basically, my dad called the doctor and said, no, I'm taking my wife in. You guys can't tell me anything because she literally can't even breathe.
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't breathe. So on April 3rd, my husband took me finally to the ICU, to the emergency room. For some reason, I felt like I was dying. And a lot of things came into mind, which were my children, my husband that just left me. When will I see him again? So it's all like surreal. They stick the swab in my nose and come back about not even 30 minutes later and say, yeah, you tested positive. When the doctors and nurses would come in and out of the room, I was still in a daze, like, I can't believe I have COVID. Okay, so now what? And then out of nowhere, while I'm sitting there waiting for another doctor to come in, I see my son, my 22-year-old son, walk right in front of my room. And he looks at me and I look at him, and right there I broke down because I knew that I probably infected him. And so he went and was taken to another room. 2 days in, when I was waiting for the doctor to finally come, and he explained to me, okay, we're about to wheel you in because your breathing is so labored. Your lungs are filled with liquid. And it's pretty bad, so you need to be placed on a ventilator. I don't know how long I was asleep for after they put me on the ventilator, but when I woke up, I was alone in a dark room, and all I could hear was the beeping of the machines. I felt in my throat, like, the ventilator in there to help me breathe. The whole time I sat there and realizing, oh my gosh, I don't know how long I'm going to be on here, I cried. I immediately just started crying because my son and my kids at home, my husband who came and dropped me off, and who knows when I'm going to see them again. And I know my daughter was isolating with friends. And so all this was going on in my mind. And what I was thinking about was I needed to stop crying because the tears were flowing so much into my ears, I couldn't be able to wipe them. And so while I'm laying there and I'm thinking of, why is this happening to me? How much longer is it going to take until my breathing can finally, be normal again? And it's like the more I prayed, the longer it seemed that it was gonna, get better for me.
Because I'm the oldest, I'm the type of person to think about the positive and try to just stay positive for all my siblings. And her siblings were very worried. They kept calling me, they kept trying to FaceTime me, and I was like, everything's fine, we're good, we're out. My dad has everything under control. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated. But little did I know what was going on, because I didn't know that they had tested positive until Sunday when I got home. My dad tested positive for COVID. His results came back and he tested positive, so he had to stay in the room. And it just made me realize, I have a 12-year-old out here, and it's just me. My mom's in the hospital. My brother's in the hospital. My dad's self-isolating in the room. It's just me. And this is what I'm going to have to deal with for a while right now, until I figure out what's going on with my mom, what's going on with my dad, what's going to happen to my dad, what's going to happen to my mom, and what's going to happen to my brother. It hit me that day. I continued to stay focused and busy, to not try to focus on the negative. My mom's going to be okay. My dad's going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. If I focused on the negative, I knew if I broke down, my 12-year-old brother was going to be lost.
How many classes do you have?
I have 7.
Okay, well then, did you study for this and did you take it yet?
We don't take it yet. You don't have to use that.
So did you read this today?
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay, well then tell me.
How am I? Oh my gosh, I'm not doing this.
See?
I'm not doing this.
See? Because you don't know it.
You're annoying.
Because you don't know it.
You're making me read over something that she does.
What are you talking about?
How am I supposed to?
You didn't read
the whole
this.
thing word
Because
by
you
word.
didn't read this.
Yes, I did.
Did you study? Did you take notes?
Take notes? Why do I need to take notes when those are the notes?
Oh my gosh. You're going to fail everything.
Give me homework back.
You're going to fail everything, and then you're going to be a strip club owner.
That's funny because I don't know what that is. He didn't post anything yet.
Dad, you hungry? Some soup? You want soup?
No.
How are you feeling? The breathing?
It's getting worse.
Worse? Just breathe it first. It's really hot.
I just beat the fevers. Hopefully this will go away too.
How does it feel when you walk? You can barely walk? If the breathing gets worse, you're going to want to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, call me if you need to. I'll come check on you one more time.
Okay.
Before anything. You want this off?
My dad's symptoms weren't the same as my mom. I had to keep checking on him because my dad is very stubborn and he doesn't ask for help or anything. He was trying to hold out for my mom a lot throughout the whole time. He thought that he was going to be able to treat himself and overcome it in his room, and it was not the case. I kept seeing him deteriorating day by day. Every day was bad, because because my mom was on a ventilator at that time. So, you know, seeing him deteriorating day by day and him trying to wait out for my mom was very hard for me. You know, because it was just not knowing, you know, like, what do I do? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but yet they have my dad here telling him to isolate in the room, and I'm trying to do my best trying to manage things in the house and trying to save his life, possibly. You know, this responsibility was given to me. I mean, it wasn't even given to me. It was just, I had to do it. I had to do this, you know? So seeing him deteriorating every day and knowing that she was in the ICU on a ventilator, I was alone at that time. It was one of the darkest moments of my life. I told him, I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and watch you die. Like I told myself I'm gonna take my dad to the hospital and he finally, thank God, you know, he was like, you know what, I'm ready to go. I was like, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna take you.
Papa, I need you to go inside my room. Let me get you a jacket.
Wait, just get my charger.
You need a mask, Dad. You want us to call 911? Dad, I will call 911 right now if you cannot make it down these stairs. Hold the door. Oh man, both of my parents in there, and I couldn't even like go inside with him. They had to check him in, and then right after they took his vitals and checked him in, they just rolled him in. That was the moment when I came back to my car. I was just like, man, you know, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't. Like, this from this moment on, it's up to God at this point. I just focused on, you know what, we're gonna get through this. You know, I had my moment in my car to cry about it and think about, you know, the darkest things that could happen or the worst case scenario. But then I got back home and I just went back, you know, went straight back into to keep myself busy and continually calling the nurses, calling the doctors, asking them for information. Can I get an update on my parents? I called them 3 times a day just to see, and I was calling back and forth. And some of the nurses and some of the doctors are, your junior son. And then I was like, yeah. And then they're like, oh, your mom's upstairs too. Your mom's upstairs. So the nurses and the doctors knew my name. They knew our last name because they knew that it was a husband and wife that were, you know, in the hospital at the same time. And my brother had just gotten out. 4 days being on the ventilator, the nurses and doctors finally came in and told me, okay, you know, your breathing levels have gotten up to where we need them to be, but you're still not out of the clear yet. You still need to be put on oxygen. So they put me on oxygen and they wheeled me back to another room. And so one of the nurses comes in to check on my pulse, check on all my, you know, my vitals. And she says, you're one of our success stories. And I said, why did you say that? And then she said, well, the lady across from you, she passed away and they're bringing all her monitors out. And we've given her a tablet so that she can say goodbye to her family. And right there, after she left, I felt like, why? She has a family. She's probably a mom.
probably a sister. It's like you're sitting there and you're wondering, you know, why did I get this deal and she got that? That could have easily have been me. I prayed for her. I closed my eyes and I prayed for her, and I prayed for myself.
Literally after Easter Sunday, we started hearing positive news. Everything after that was uphill. My mom was making progress. She got off the ventilator. She was in ICU still, but she was off the ventilator, and that was really good news to hear. My dad was not listening to any of the doctors or the nurses and trying to work on his own breathing on his own. He actually got out first before my mom.
Morning, Dad. You gotta mix it in. And your cheese right here. How are you feeling? Good. Where's the Can you do it right now? Over there, 97. 97? That's good.
When I picked him up, it was a positive sign that, you know, things are looking up for my family. The day that we got the call where my mom could come, she was like, oh, whenever you guys can come pick me up. And I was like, she made it a little deal. And I was like, Mom, I'm ready to come pick you up right now. I'm going to come pick you up. I'm coming straight right now. Like, so I didn't even change or anything. I left, and it was literally my birthday that day, right? It was my birthday.
Your birthday was the day before.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Oh, light your candle. Make a wish.
I don't need a wish.
And so when I'm on my way out of the elevator, I see my son, you know, getting out of the car. And it's like the first day that I was able to see my son when he was first born. You know, that happiness feeling.
Can I see my mom? You okay? Mommy. You okay?
It was like the most amazing feeling because it just made me feel complete again. You know, like it's not even 100%. It's like 200%.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, son.
Love you.
I love you more.
Missed you.
I miss you, son. I told God, forgive me for everything I did. I'm done fighting. I don't know how to fight through it.
Well, I'm glad you did. Love you. Slow? Go slow.
Hi, Mom. You okay?
She's okay. She just needs to take a break. Mom. Okay.
Hi, Mom.
Just come over here. Yeah, she is. Shower.
The minerals in this are absolutely
Is your
consistent
bed
from that
comfortable?
time period. You've got an ancient
It's like I finally realized, you know, what I've been taking advantage of, you know, things that I have not really said to my mom or my dad, or, you know, the relationships that I want to have with people. It was like the best feeling to have my family back together again. You know, this is not the case for a lot of families, a lot of people. It makes me grateful to know that I was able to get my family back together, and a lot of things have been put into perspective for our family, and our relationships have, you know, grown tenfold for us.
Can I take one?
Wait, no.
God has blessed us with an amazing son. I'm just grateful to have someone like Pele. I love my son, and I thank him for being there for me, his dad, and his brothers and his sister during a dark time in our life.
My name is Amy Beret. I'm 84 years old. I lost my husband about 6 months ago, which was very hard. I've been married for 65 years to him, and it took a tremendous amount of strength to be able to understand and deal with it. Consequently, in March, I became quite ill with an abdominal problem and was taken to a hospital, to the emergency room, where I was escorted, hardly being able to walk. No one was allowed to walk with me. Neither to say that it was during the epidemic. So I was isolated in a hospital, and I could not see my children. I couldn't have them close to me. I was really all alone, and my husband was a physician, and he always was with me during those difficult times. And I felt very isolated and very alone. The only thing that probably kept me going during this very difficult time was talking to my children, and particularly my son, Stephen. I don't know if I called him or he called me, but I remember saying to him, you know, I don't know if I can make it. The pain is horrendous. The isolation is terrible. And I need you to pray for me. And all I prayed for is to have enough strength to go through this time, which was about 2.5 to 3 weeks in the hospital. It was an experience that I've never experienced before, even though I've had surgeries before. You are just a thing. The doctors and nurses come you with the masks and all covered up. So you don't see faces. It's just gowns that you see. All you hear is voices at you. There's not really any connection emotionally with the doctor or the nurses, except they're trying their best to make you feel as comfortable as you can. And it was very, very lonely and very scary. Surgery went well, but it was very difficult to me. And there was certainly times when I didn't think I was going to make it because of all the pain and the discomfort that I was going through. But I did go through it. I came home and had a lot of time to recuperate. And I think maybe I was a very strong person, being that I just have gone through so many traumas. I prayed and I tried to stay strong and I tried to stay positive, that I did go through it. And I still am recuperating from it. It left me with a few problems. And for a person like me, it's an adjustment because I used to be an athlete most of my life. And I had to give up a lot of my things that I enjoy doing. I still try and maintain to walk and do golf when I can. But it's touch and go. I still am not going to give up. I'm going to continue being positive during this time. Okay. Hi, God, it's been such a long time. Oh, how you doing? It's been so long. My goodness, I know. Oh. Come on, darling.
I love you.
I love you too, sweetheart. Well, it is wonderful to see you, darling.
It's wonderful to
It's
see
been
you
so
too, Mom.
long. I know.
I'm gonna sit next to you.
Yeah, okay. It's been very, very long.
How happy I am to
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah.
It feels good. Yeah, I get a little teared up.
Oh, I know you're very emotional.
Yeah, well, so much happened.
Yeah, but we're strong enough to overcome it, You have to be.
Thank God.
We're going to do the best we can and go on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was so very happy to be able to unite with my son. It's been months and months since I've seen him. I do see the rest of my kids, which I have 4. and they are isolated, so I can see them. And if they are not, I wait 14 days before I can see them. It does give me now the strength, emotionally and physically, to heal myself and to go on with life, even though it has been the most difficult 6-7 months. And I'm hoping to do a complete recovery and go on with my life and enjoy my children and my grandchildren.
When a loved one's in the hospital, or when you're in the hospital, it's so important to be an advocate and be there and actually be at the nurse's station and talk to the doctors in person to feel like, you know, you're advocating for that patient, and we couldn't do that.
There is a scene that runs in my head every now and then that I'll never forget. We had a very high-profile resident at this nursing facility, and I mean, he was former president of Stanford University, for crying out loud. He unfortunately got COVID-19, and so did his wife. He was more of a hospice care, so meaning they were not going to do any heroic measures to save him. You know, he was waiting to die. Our nurses and our nurses team, because there was no visitors, were allowed to FaceTime his family. When he passed away, I just saw that a lot of the nurses went outside and they just started breaking down. Like, they didn't really want to break down in front of the other residents, but they stepped out and they just started crying. And right there, I went and I tried to comfort them. But at that moment, I just felt like how blessed we were to actually be at those last moments of these residents. How important that is, that you have somebody that you love or somebody that's just there with you in the last hours.
And I'll never forget a nurse that came from Iowa. She was the one who wrote her name on the board when I was in there on Easter Sunday. So I didn't know it was Easter. And when she wrote it, she said, "Happy Easter," is when I realized, oh my goodness, it's Easter.
Mom?
Hi.
Hi.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Mom.
I miss you guys so much.
Miss you too.
Miss you too, Mom.
I miss you too, my baby. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you help your brother sing?
No. I was sleeping.
Mom, don't talk too much because you're air.
Okay.
But
I love you guys so much. Happy Easter.
we love you too.
We love you
Happy
too. Happy
Easter, Mom.
And I'll never forget her. And wherever she is, I pray to God that she is blessed 10 times.
One of our patients that was in memory care, she was already suffering from dementia. Most of her family's already passed away. On her last hours of dying, she was actually looking for her daughter. We actually decided that one of the nurses was going to pretend like her daughter. And we had her hold her hand, and she was calling her daughter's name all throughout. She really believed that this was her daughter. And she was happy when she died. Those are the cases that I'll never forget. We're here to provide not only health care, but also mental health to the people that we're serving. So when you don't lose track of that and you know you're there for a reason, you're there to save lives, you're there to help people, then you won't lose track. I always focus on the positive no matter what situation I'm in, and that's how I get through the mission. And that's how I try to convey that message to our team. Focus on the positive, don't dwell on the negative, and you'll get through it.
Give hope to the people who sometimes things look very bleak and sad, and to just try and find the strength, because we all have it, to overcome certain difficulties that we are going through in life. So this is my message to everyone, and I know I'm not the only one who is going through this very difficult time. Many, many, many more people do.
If you have your family and you have the opportunity to have your family healthy, need of you, just appreciate and love them and be together. We have to love each other, support each other, and help each other, because in that way we're gonna keep together, and even the country it's gonna grow up better if we are together.
So we feel frustrated for our family, for my mom, and for everybody has a pain, because I understand what is the pain when you have family in the hospital, when you have family sick and you don't can see it. That is my point. Try to keep it healthy. It's difficult, but try to give it love.
Hold your parents dear, and your family members, and all those people that you love. Think about how you could celebrate each other and love each other, and don't fight. Don't get upset over petty things. Just hold each other and support each other and be there for each other, because life is short, and the people that you have in your life, there's no one more important than that.
They're supposed to give you extra.
For me and my experience and what I went through with my parents and my brother, and just knowing how fragile life is because of all of this, you know, don't sit on any grudges. Don't sit and wait to say I love you. Don't sit and wait till tomorrow to call your mom or your dad. Don't sit on the negative. You know, after all of this, it really brought into perspective, you know, how little we think of things. We're so narrow-minded when it comes to life. If you get in an argument with your parents or anything, if it upsets you, if you tell your mom or your dad, don't come to my wedding. No, that means that I want you to come to my wedding. You know, I want people to know, you know, how fragile life is, and it's not worth the trouble of blocking anyone out in your life. You know, you don't want to end those relationships. You don't want to end anything important to you in your life. It's so important to cherish your parents. And for me to I know people out there that have lost their parents, both of them. I don't know what that feeling is like, but I know what it feels like to almost lose them. I will cherish every interaction that I have with my parents all the time. And no matter what, you know, no matter how mad I get at them or how mad they get at me, we're always going to know that we will be there for one another, and we'll always love each other no matter what.
That was a ball. Okay, thank you.
Wait.
Are you serious? It's your turn.
Oh, wasn't it?
Oh, it wasn't your turn.
Was it not, Mom?
Every moment, you only get it once. You can't get it back. And once you say something to hurt someone else, you can't get that back. The only thing we have now is time, and you can't waste it. COVID, it doesn't discriminate against anybody. We love each other because that's what God has given us. His last word on earth is for us to love one another. And that's what we need to do for those who we still have left.
So for you people, I wish the best, and I hope you develop the strength to go on with life and enjoy what you have, even though times are very, very difficult.